At that moment, at that time, that is the most glorious thing you've ever tasted. For that few seconds where you are biting into it, it's dissolving on your taste buds, and then you swallow it down. It literally lasts a few seconds, but at that moment, that is the most heavenly thing you've ever tasted, right? And then the bill comes. You pay now or you pay later when it comes to your health and your weight loss. But I promise you, you are going to pay. I'm Christy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening. Christy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer, and your host for Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Thank you for joining me. I absolutely appreciate the fact that it's because of you and only you that we are doing so well, that the podcast is doing so well, that we've got so many ratings and reviews, and we've got people are finding hope and healing from this podcast. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your ratings and reviews. Again, it does not go unnoticed, and it's because of you. 100%. All right, I can't do this without you. I am really excited to talk about this podcast, Pay Now or Pay Later. It's one of the subjects that I'm the most passionate about, because the bill is coming. The bill is coming. Now, let me back up and tell you something. I've been married a couple times. If my sister Carrie were here, she would have some smart aleck comment. Yeah, look. When the way I was raised very strict Pentecostal, and you don't have sex before marriage, and so if you wanted to have sex, well, you better get married. And that's a lousy reason to get married, just to have sex. So I'm sorry if this makes anybody uncomfortable. I'm not gonna go into details. I'm just saying that a lot of times that's the way you just did that. Well, marriage is very little about sex and about so many other things. And I didn't have marriage figured out. I didn't know what I wanted. I thought my dad was perfect, and I wanted to marry someone like my dad, and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I'm telling you, I have just a lot of things that I was wrong about. And so I thought the answer was always getting married. So that was my biggest mistake right there. However, I did marry a man named Jason Nickel. That's how I got the name Christy Nickel. And Jason was and is a very good man. Now, Jason did not, at the time that we got married in the year 2000, we thought we wanted our lives to go in a certain direction, and I became a professional boxer. Now, that was completely out of the blue. And my life took a different turn, and we thought we were going to have kids in 5 years. And when 5 years came, and my boxing career was at the peak I was at the peak of my boxing career, and I didn't want any kids, and I never wanted kids, but I thought that I just would. And he did not want to stay married if I was not going to have kids. And, I didn't want to be married because I wanted this boxing career, and it was just kind of a mess. It turned into a mess. It was never always a mess. It just turned into a mess because I think my boxing career kind of screwed up that marriage, and my life took a different turn, and that's not what he signed up for. And since then, he has remarried. He has 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, and I think it would appear that he seems happy. I know his kids are cute, and he seems like he is very happy with his wife, and etc. But that was where I got the name Jason Nickel, and I fully support him, and he fully supports me, and I just wish him the best. He's a very good man. So Jason Nickel and I got married in the year 2000. Our 1-year anniversary in 2001, we decided. Remember, I lived in Memphis. just south of Memphis in a small town. We built a house in South Haven in the year 2001. And we decided to take our 1-year anniversary trip down to New Orleans. And we were going to go to the Commander's Palace. Anybody here know what I'm talking about? Anybody here been to New Orleans? I've been to New Orleans several times. Not my favorite place on earth, but that was a great trip for us. You know, we could drive down there, and we stayed at a hotel. We went to the Aqua Center or something. I mean, guys, it's been 19 years ago. I'm just not remembering a lot of the details, but I do remember Commander's Palace. Commander's Palace was back then, I don't know anything about it now, but it was a 5-star restaurant back then. And I had never been to a 5-star restaurant. I came from a family that was poor. I was raised on a farm. I had the ranch life. I took care of farm animals. I had never been to a fancy restaurant before. So here I am, 24 years old, something like that. I'm 44 now. That would have been 24. Yeah, about 24 years old at that point, 25, something like that. And I just never had been to a 5-star restaurant. Well, Jason came from a family with money, and he had been. I mean, for his college graduation, he got a brand new Lexus. That was what he got for his college graduation present. Plus, he was the only child, and I wouldn't say he was spoiled, but he didn't want for anything, but he did go to. He played football for Ole Miss, and he worked hard and got good grades, and he was a good kid. He stayed out of trouble, and he was just a good kid for them. So I understand why they did so much for him, but they had money, his parents did, and they had been to fancy restaurants. They had the country club memberships, and they had been to Europe together and all that stuff. So there was a little bit of a difference between Jason and I as far as going to this fancy restaurant. And I vividly remember, and remember, there's not a whole lot that I remember because I do have head injury from my boxing days, and my memory is not as good. Even at only 44 years old, my memory is really not good. So I remember specifically going to Commander's Palace, my first time at a 5-star restaurant, and it was so fancy. And I remember the waiters, like they just, everything was just fine dining and crystal and china and silver and the service was impeccable. The food was impeccable. And then when they brought you your food, they lifted off the tops of the plate of the food at the same time. Everything was an ordeal. It was an act. It was a performance or a production. The whole thing was such a big deal. And we all think of, wanting to be catered to. What happens when you're catered to? When you hire a caterer or you're catered to, everything is taken care of. The food is prepared. The food is served. You do nothing. They clean up. They do everything for you. There's no thought. You don't have to think about anything. When you're catered to, you don't have to worry about anything. Everything is every little thing you could ever want is right there. Somebody is at your beck and call. Before you even think about it, if you even gesture. I remember at the Commander's Palace, if you just gesture, if they're reading your body language, if you even look like you might want something, bam, there's the waitress. There's the waiter with a white cloth over his arm, and he's just like, they just anticipate your every move. And it's just impeccable. The food is impeccable. The coffee is impeccable. The drinks are impeccable. Everything is impeccable. And it really feels good to be catered to. It feels good to be waited on at that level. And it's so much fun, and you feel like a princess, and you feel like royalty, and it's just so super fancy. But then let me tell you, the bill arrives, and somebody's got to pay for that. We see celebrities. Annabelle is right next to my leg. There she is. She's whining. We haven't gone for our walk today yet, and she's whining at me and pressing against my thigh. You see these celebrities with private planes, private jets. Okay. And everybody thinks, wow, to be a celebrity with a private jet. But somebody's got to pay that bill. And do you have any idea how much a private jet costs? Do you have any idea how much a private jet costs? Let me give you an idea. From Boise to Salt Lake City, it's a 44-minute flight. From Boise to Salt Lake City, I take that flight all the time on Delta Airlines. I take that flight constantly. Almost every week I go someplace new. And I have got to take that flight all the time because that's a Delta hub. Salt Lake City is. And so to take a private jet from Boise to Salt Lake City, a 44-minute flight. You guys ready for this? $9,000. That just give you an idea, okay? So you see these celebrities with private jets and you're like, wow. But somebody has got to pay that bill. Being catered to is so cool. It's so neat. And when you're in the moment, it feels so good. And you're just like, wow, this is the life until you get that bill. Now, they ain't going to do that for free. They're not doing any of this for you out of the goodness of their heart. Nobody's giving away these services for free. Avgas costs a lot of money. These private jet pilots cost a lot of money. Nobody is doing this for fun for you. Those waiters at Commander's Palace, the Ritz-Carlton in London, all that stuff costs money. And they are very profitable for a reason. Because people, they're not giving it away for free. You pay now or you pay later. And let me tell you, the bill is coming. You're enjoying it in the moment. But they are going to lay down that bill and you are going to have to pony up. That's how it works. And there's nothing that holds more true to this statement, the pay now or pay later, than weight loss. Because you are indulging, like you're like, oh my gosh, let's go to Krispy Kreme. Oh yeah, see, they do this thing, they make this donut. And I'm not bragging. I have seen this on documentaries on how they make donuts, but I've actually never been to a Krispy Kreme. And I know that sounds like, oh, Christy, like all of you guys are rolling your eyes. I'm not saying that. Listen, I have made plenty of bad food choices, but Krispy Kreme is not something that would be something I would go indulge in if I was indulging in something. That's just not the way I'm wired. Okay, that doesn't do it for me. But I have watched documentaries on Krispy Kreme and on donuts, and I've watched the Food Network, and I understand what they make. So you're thinking, all right, let's go to Krispy Kreme. Okay, Krispy Kreme donut or any donut probably is the worst thing you can possibly eat because it's a combination of fat and sugar. And when you combine fat and sugar, then you have an especially volatile metabolic reaction in your body. It's worse when you combine fat with the sugar, but it causes your sensors to fire on all cylinders. Like it literally lights up every sensor of your body and your brain. It's the ultimate in pleasure for the human body and the brain is a donut because of the combination of fat and sugar. So you indulge in something, you treat yourself in something. Or you go like, you know what, just tonight we're going to order Domino's pizza. A pizza is also the carbs plus the fat. And that does, and of course, if you chase it with some cinnamon sticks, you're hitting all the senses of the body. So if you indulge in something like this, at that moment, at that time, that is the most glorious thing you've ever tasted. For that few seconds where you are biting into it, it's dissolving on your taste buds, and then you swallow it down. It literally lasts a few seconds, but at that moment, that is the most heavenly thing you've ever tasted, right? And then the bill comes. You pay now or you pay later when it comes to your health and your weight loss. But I promise you are going to pay. I promise you the bill is coming. I promise you none of these calories are free. I promise you it's gonna show up somewhere in your body. I promise you you will have to pay the price. It will manifest itself as a headache, as diarrhea, as constipation, as a gut ache, as some sort of inflammation throughout your body. This will manifest itself and show up on your body. It will. I promise you. You can't get away with it. It's not free. Eating chemical crap garbage like donuts or pizza or Pop-Tarts or lean cuisines or any of that, it's not free. Even in your 20s, nobody gets away with it. You don't get any of these things for free. If you're young, a lot of people say like, well, back when I was a kid, I could get away with this. I write plenty of customized nutrition programs for people in their 20s. They ain't getting away with it. They're not. You can't just go run yourself like when you were 20 and you ate a pizza and you just went and ran a mile and it was totally fine. We just aren't getting away with it even young kids anymore. They're not getting away with it. They're getting the bill too. But let me tell you, it does catch up to you. Maybe you did have a rapidly high metabolism of a gazelle when you were 22 years old. And then at 32 or 42, you are now having to change your diet. You're now having to think of things a lot differently, getting a few more salads and some more broccoli, a few more steaks, not as much pizza and beer. And that might be the case for you, but it is going to catch up to you. You will get that bill. It's pay now or pay later. The time is going to come where all those bad choices are going to catch up to you and they're going to manifest themselves some way in your body. That is the way it works. And if you are listening to me right now, you haven't committed to the Code Red lifestyle of real food, water, and sleep, or you haven't committed to some sort of a version of that, some sort of healthy lifestyle. I don't care if you do Whole30. I don't care if you do paleo. I don't care if you do keto. They all have rules. As long as your program is based off real food, water, and sleep, I don't care what you want to call it. It's the proper human diet. But if you are doing that, if you haven't committed to something now and you're still eating like garbage and you're still drinking way too much and you're not drinking enough water and you're cutting too low on your sleep and you're letting your stress run high, that is going to catch up to you. So if you are letting it go right now, believe me, you don't just get out of this. It's not going to just ignore you. It's not going to just go away. These poor choices that are manifesting, that they will manifest themselves. They will show up in your body. That's what that means. They will show up in your body eventually in some way. It might start off as just a mild headache. It might start off with just a small pain in your little finger. It might start off as just, instead of a size 6, now you're a size 8. It might be small, but you are not going to get away with it forever. Eventually, those things compound, and as you get older, it shows up. It compounds all these poor choices for years on end. It finally catches up to you. So you can make the decision at 25 years old right now to say, whoa, let me nip this in the bud and start adopting a healthier lifestyle before it gets out of control, which I don't really know a whole lot of 25-year-olds that do that. They should. Or you can wait until it gets so bad that you're on medication and a CPAP and that you have impotence because your blood sugars are too high. You can wait till it gets bad if you want. But it's going to get bad and you're going to get the bill. People say, well, I'm just $9.97 for a custom program from Christy. Holy crap, that's a lot of money, they say. Jeez. I mean, $9.97? Really? $1,000? Wow. Oh, yeah. You can pay me $9.97 to write a customized nutrition program for you and coach you through your weight loss and good health and make all those healthy decisions and stay and have access to my coaching staff for the next 3 months. Like, you can pay me that $1,000, or you're going to pay it to a doctor, or you're going to pay it to gastric bypass, or you're going to pay it to a big pharma for your medications. Or you're going to pay it to somebody. You can pay it to me, now and let me teach you how to keep this off the rest of your life, and you have a nutrition program that you can actually keep the rest of your life and refer to if your weight ever gets up again. Or you can go ahead and give it to Big Pharma for your Cialis or your Lipitor. You can give it to them, or you can save it and you can give it to your doctor for copay because your eczema or your rosacea has gotten out of control. It's way too bad. Or you can go ahead and give it to Domino's. You're spending that money somewhere. You will spend the money. It's either now, $9.97 with me, or it's later, $30,000 for gastric bypass. It's now or later. It's now, you can take care of your problem while you're only 40 pounds up, or it's later, you can take care of 140 pounds up. We write custom programs for people all the time that have 200 and plus pounds to lose. That does not shock us coming through the program. It does not shock us to see someone who has to lose 224 pounds. It does not shock us going from 375 down to 130. It does not shock us seeing people like that. We take extra precautions with people like that. You know, everybody comes to our custom program, they get medically screened, everybody. But we might get a doctor's notice for somebody who's pushing that kind of weight. It does not shock us. So I'm telling you, nobody gets away with it. These problems, they don't go away. And you can't be catered to. You can't waltz into a Krispy Kreme or beep boop boop beep boop, call up Domino's and continue to get away with it. It just doesn't work that way. It's pay now or pay later. A lot of times people see they see like Jennifer Lopez, for example. You know, she turned 50. I think she's getting ready to turn 51, and she just has a banging body. And she talked about on Oprah or Ellen or someone, you know, like I love sugar. I love sugar, she says. I love sugar. And like you watch her Instagram, I quit following her on Instagram because I don't politically line up with what she believes. And I don't want to see someone's politics on Instagram. I mean, I follow her because she's a great dancer and she's pretty and I like how real she is and honest. But when people start posting their political bullcrap, I mean, I just can't do it. I can't do it. That's why you don't see me posting political stuff on Instagram and Facebook, because I don't want to turn you off if you don't line up with what I think. And that has nothing to do with weight loss. So why even talk about it? So Jennifer Lopez, she's just got this banging body, and people say, you hear her say, like you'll see her post on Instagram, like eating a cake pop or something, you know, or she'll be like pasta, yum, 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 or whatever, you know. Oh, believe me, to keep Jennifer Lopez's body, she does not have that food all the time. You can't. She can't be having sugar. She busts her butt in the gym. She eats a very clean diet. She drinks her water. She doesn't drink alcohol. Like there are so many, you just don't see the grind. You don't see the boring part. You just see her modeling for Gucci. You just see her doing a Coach ad where she's got her flat belly at 51 years old. You don't see all the in between. That girl pays her dues every day. She makes good decisions every day. You don't see all that part. You just see her eating like a bite of a donut and like smiling at the camera. Believe me, you might see her opening her mouth, and I promise you, she's not eating that whole donut. But you don't see that, so you like, oh, J-Lo eats donuts, I can too. No, she can't, and you can't. The rent is due, and you are gonna have to pay up, and it's pay now or pay later. I am telling you that the influencers that you follow and the celebrities and stuff, the people that have the really good bodies and stuff, it doesn't matter what you see them in pictures doing. The reality is very different. My neighbor, Chris Gethin, you guys know I am a huge Chris Gethin fan. He's a buddy of mine, and I just think the world of him. He's a professional bodybuilder. He's a world-class celebrity trainer. He's incredible. Everybody wants a body like Chris Gethin. But do you know that every morning when I'm making my bed, my bedroom window points up towards his house. His house is a little bit higher than mine, so I can see, when I look out my bedroom window, I can see his house, which sounds creepy when I say it like that, but it's not. And in every morning, because we get up about the same time, I see his red light therapy light glowing. Every morning he's in his meditation room, meditating and doing red light therapy. Every morning, he writes down his goals. He sets up his day. Every day he does the grind, but you don't see that. You just see what he posts. You don't see that every day he pays the piper. Every day he does the grind because every day the rent is due. And it's pay now or pay later. You can pay now and save yourself a whole heartache, a whole boatloads of heartache later. But I'm telling you, the bill is coming. It's all fun and games until the bill comes. I was just watching this documentary on the Ritz-Carlton in London, and I think it's the most famous Ritz-Carlton. Ritz-Carlton, as you guys know, is a luxury hotel / restaurant / kind of a resort spa. They've been around since 1907? And the Ritz-Carlton is like uber, just dripping off the fingers. Even the Queen herself goes to the Ritz-Carlton. And you watch the documentary of the people like having tea and having little, patisseries and stuff. And yet you don't see the part where they have to lay down that credit card and they got to pay the bill. It's very, very, very expensive. And you wish for that until you got to pay that bill. Believe me, you're wishing for that Krispy Kreme donut, but the bill is due. That bill is coming and you will have to pay that price. It is not worth it. And you're thinking, what does that mean? I could never have a Krispy Kreme donut again, Christy? Is that what you're saying? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that make wise choices. Make sure that you know what you're doing. And that's the great thing about our maintenance group. Once you hit goal weight, we transfer you into our maintenance group, and I teach you how to have what you want, but do it strategically so you don't gain your weight back. Because you can't go back to your old ways. You have to adhere to the rules. But I promise you, all the fancy stuff you see people doing and all the fancy stuff you dream of, it comes with a price tag. It comes with the bill, and someone's got to pay that bill. And you will pay it now or you will pay it later, but I promise you, it's going to hurt a lot less if you pay it now before it gets out of control. When your weight and your health gets out of control, you got medications, you got surgeries, you've got to have to buy bigger clothes. You can't travel because you can't fit into the plane seats. Every time you turn down the biscotti cookie on the plane, that's less times, that's fewer times you have to ask for the seatbelt extender. It's one or the other. The rent is due, and every time you turn down the biscotti cookies, you're paying the rent. Hey, you know what? Or I guess you could look at it the other way. I don't know. I'm starting to confuse myself. I think you get what I'm saying. Pay now or pay later. I'm telling you right now, you are going to pay up. You do not get out of paying. Nobody gets a free ride when it comes to their health. And you are responsible for you. Nobody is coming for you. Nobody's looking out for you. Nobody's going to make sure you do it. You've got to make sure that you do it. Do you want to be a burden on your family? Because they're going to have to pay your bills. Do you want to be not able to even to pay your bills because you can't work? That day is coming if you don't get your health under control. You're going to get too big to work. You're going to get too tired. You're going to have too many medical problems. You might as well get it under control now before it gets out of control. Because either you control it now or it controls you later. But you're not getting out of it. The rent is due. The bill is due. Everybody loves to be catered to until they get that bill. Because Jason and I had a great time at our 1-year anniversary at Commander's Palace. But then someone had to lay down the credit card. And reality came back and hit us in the face. And because we were a young married couple, we didn't have a lot of money. We had to pay on that credit card. We had to pay that dinner off for the next 6 months, making payments on it, It's your choice, 100% your choice, 100% your choice. Make the choice. Make the choice. We can help you. I can write a custom program for you right now and have you feeling good. 10% of your body weight off every month. That is absolutely incredible. You can do that math. You know what 10% is. That's how much you tithe to your church. 10% a month. You can't afford not to. But if you choose not to, you will have to choose to do it. You will choose to do it later. It's either now or later. That's the bottom line. 10poundtakedown.com. That's where you go to join the next rolling challenge. We have challenges every month, and there's always one coming up. If you missed the one starting this month, there's one starting next month. The number 10, POUND, takedown.com. I want to see you on it. It's a great way for $47 to just dip your toe into the lifestyle and figure out if it's for you. We think the proper human diet of real food, water, and sleep is for everybody, but you have to get used to me and figure out if you like the way I'm delivering the information to you. You might or might not. I think you will. But I come live to you every day at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, and I teach you something new. It's incredible. So join the next challenge, and I will catch you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. Take care, guys. Thanks for listening to this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you're not subscribed already, please be sure to do that right now. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could do me a quick favor and rate and review this podcast. That would be just so helpful. Speaking of health, let me know if I can help you. Go to coderedlifestyle.com, check out my programs, and see what we can do for you. Until next time, Rebel on.